say she's here.
Okay, we ready? I knew she would steal the show. Okay, good morning. I'd like to acknowledge everyone at the podium with me from the
Wait,
SBC.
for some reason I have no audio here. One.
Everybody else?
Sorry.
Okay, just let me know when.
We're good, thank you.
Okay, so from the SPCA, Gary Rogers and Brian Wasserman, and Detective Matt Roper, who's the Director of Law Enforcement at the SPCA. From my office, Jed Painter, who's counsel and also head of the Animal Crimes Unit, and Assistant DA Stephanie Hernan. Good morning. We're here today to announce the indictment relating to and stemming from the brutal killing of 2 puppies and the near-fatal beating of a 3rd puppy, which allegedly occurred over a 3-week period in February of 2019. On February 8th, 2019, the defendants, a Mineola couple, adopted a Shepherd mix puppy from the North Shore Animal League. 9 days later, on February 17th, that animal, named Tucker, was dead. We allege that Tucker died because of injuries sustained from blunt force trauma, which caused his kidney to swell. Tucker's kidney capsule ruptured, and he suffered a hemoabdomen. This young, healthy puppy succumbed to catastrophic bleeding from internal injuries. The very next day, on February 18th, 2019, the couple then purchased a 2nd puppy from a breeder in Pennsylvania. You can see Cooper, the puppy, here in that video, still with the defendant in a pet store. Just 2 days after that, in the afternoon of February 20th, Cooper was taken to another veterinarian in cardiac and respiratory arrest, and he then died. Upon further examination, the vet determined that Cooper suffered a lacerated liver. Cooper, too, bled to death internally due to injuries sustained from blunt force trauma. 3 days after Cooper died, on February 23rd, we allege that the defendant, Eli Noller, returned to the same breeder in Pennsylvania and claimed that he was sold a sick dog and demanded that he be given another dog. That dog is Bella, who's here with us today. She is Tucker's sister. They are born of the same litter. That's Bella there. On February 27, 2019, just 4 days after picking her up from the breeder, the defendants brought Bella, who at the time was about 11 weeks old, to an emergency veterinary hospital in Westbury. The 10-pound puppy was in critical condition. The doctors examined the dog and determined that she had suffered multiple fractured ribs on both sides of her body, pulmonary contusions or bruising of her lungs, scleral hemorrhaging of both of her eyes, which is bleeding behind the eyes, and a broken right leg. Again, you saw in the video, as well as other injuries that are demonstrated in the x-rays and photos. Bella required surgery and the implementation of a metal rod to repair her broken leg, and she continues to recover very nicely now from her injuries. We allege that Mineola resident Eli Noller caused the pain and serious injuries that Bella suffered by means of blunt force trauma, and that she sustained injuries consistent with neck trauma or choking. Shortly after Bella was taken to the vet, we received a call from our partners at the SCPA. There is an extraordinary network of people who care about animals in this county, and we all communicate and speak to one another. The SPCA informed us of these unusual circumstances. We immediately knew that the injuries that Bella suffered were severe and could not be explained away as mere accidents. This dog did not fall off a couch or get hit by a car. Clearly, she was beaten. We then began an investigation and worked backwards to discover that defendants had previously owned 2 young dogs that both died violent deaths in the weeks before Bella was taken to the vet. Eli Noller is charged with 3 counts of aggravated cruelty to animals, an E felony, and 3 counts of overdriving, torturing, and injuring animals, an A misdemeanor. His wife, Jessica Kuntzman, is charged with 1 count of overdriving, torturing, and injuring animals. Between February 8th and February 27th, less than 3 weeks, these 3 puppies, Cooper, Tucker, and Bella, suffered at the hands of this defendant. As part of our investigation, we learned that Bella was in severe pain for at least 15 hours before Noller's co-defendant, his wife, did anything to help the animal. 3 healthy puppies don't suffer these brutal injuries by accident or as a result of being clumsy young dogs. These dogs can't testify. They can't tell us about the suffering that they endured. But these injuries and medical records tell us what happened. A kidney capsule rupture, a lacerated liver, broken ribs on both sides of the body, a broken leg, beating behind both eyes. In my 28 years as a prosecutor, I've never seen a case where someone committed this kind of serial violence against different puppies. These allegations are horrific, and the pain that these animals must have endured is really unspeakable. This office takes violence against animals very seriously. We have a dedicated animal crimes unit, and we know that often there is a link between violence against animals and violence and neglect toward people. I want to thank our dedicated partners for their hard work on this case, and I'll turn it over to Gary Rogers at this point.
Thank you, DA. First of all, I'd like to thank the DA and her staff. I've been doing this for 35 years, and this model here works very well. I think this investigation wouldn't have been as successful as it is without their help. And also, in the 35 years I've been doing this, and Matt and Brian have been doing it quite a long time, we have to agree with the DA. I've never, ever seen a case of serial animal abuse like this, or basically serial murder of an animal. It's just wrong. To imagine what Bella had to go through, and also the other 2 dogs, one can only imagine how much force has to go through. Their bodies are not like ours. You get a punch to the kidney and get hurt. You really have to punch and hurt and do something to an animal to have those kind of injuries. So it took a long time. A lot of investigative techniques were used. We're lucky that we have partners in the veterinary community that called us, and we're lucky that we have a district attorney that takes this very, very seriously, because it is a precursor to other violent crime. People start out hurting animals before they start hurting people. So, again, what are we looking at here? One of the other things that we have with Bella, and her medical expenses are going to be huge. We're probably already up to about $18,000, I believe. Right around $18,000. So we're going to be asking the public if they can help out, and if you can help us get the word out. We have a link that they can go to. It's luckytobealive.ncspca.us, and people can donate there for her medical care, which is going to, again, she has to have another operation probably this week to take those metal bars out. So again, thank you, DA.
Okay. Thank you. We'll take any questions.
DA, this guy's like 30 years old. Do you think he was doing this over the years and maybe it was under the radar, or?
Yeah, again, I guess, the investigation is ongoing. We found out about the 3, bringing the 1, Bella, in with those kinds of serious injuries, and us digging a little deeper and asking some questions, and the community of vets communicating with each other. We were able to find the other 2 who died this really violent death. So I don't know if there's any more out there. I guess we'll see. And if people have any information, let us know.
Can you tell us anything about the couple, like where they work, they have children?
I don't think he's working. I think she's a part-time worker. They live right here in Mineola. That's about all I know. And I think she actually was affiliated with pet stores, her family. I don't know if they owned them or operated them. Yeah.
What do you feel like the reason behind this, like anger issues?
Yeah, I mean, we don't know. This has really stumped us, because usually, if we have a dog fighting ring and we see those kinds of injuries on animals, we know that there's a profit motivation. If, lots of times we see animals that are being hoarded, and we know there's a lot of mental illness and people aren't caring for their animals. I don't know why this happened, and unfortunately the dogs can't tell us. But again, we ask anyone with information. Maybe there are anger issues, maybe it's some kind of sick sport. I couldn't really tell you.
So you think both of them attacked the dogs at some point?
Well, it's hard for us to, again, these are very difficult cases, right? Because they can't talk to us, the victims can't talk to us as they do in normal cases. So we have to demonstrate who had control, sole control over the animals during the period where we think the injuries were delivered. So in that case, we charged him because we were able to demonstrate that he had sole custody of the animals during the time in question. And we charged her for not helping and aiding that animal overnight when the Bella was crying in pain for over 15 hours.
So she's only charged in Bella's case?
Yes.
So the three dogs, two of the three dogs came from the same breeder.
Yes.
The first dog came from the shelter, correct?
Correct.
And that wasn't traced back to this breeder?
No, not to the breed. There are only two for the one breeder.
So there's no real way to connect the three dogs to anyone else but this couple or nothing?
Yeah, correct. And they were young. I mean, they were puppies when they got them. And and the other thing is, at least on one occasion, they had brought the dog to a vet 2 days earlier, and the dog was healthy and playing and alert and didn't have those kinds of injuries. And then they come back 2 days later, and the dog is in serious distress or dead.
Have you been able to find out if he had, if Eli Noller had animals before he was married? Because they were been recently married, and they bought these puppies together.
Yes. Well, I don't think we've been able to ascertain that. Again, and we can use the public's help on that.
So you're basically alleging this is some sort of sick violence without a motivation known to you?
Well, I mean, yeah, we are alleging it because the violence is really horrific and really brutal. So, and again, to direct that kind of violence toward a puppy, this is, and you see Bella, she's very docile. She's not yelping. She's not an irritant. She's just, a playful puppy. So to direct that kind of violence that resulted in that kind of injuries against these defenseless animals, I mean, it is kind of sick.
Where was the first dog? I know the press release, and I'm sorry if you said this, the second dog was taken to Garden City, the third one to Westbury. Was the first dog who died of the kidney rupture taken to a separate veterinarian?
I think he was at North Shore. He was at North Shore Animal League.
3 separate places.
Yeah, 3 separate vets. Again, we can surmise that perhaps that was done so that the same vet wouldn't see this pattern. But due to our investigation and our great investigative work with our partners, we were able to connect those dots.
Have you said what shelter they got the first dog from? Is this something you know?
It was North Shore Animal League.
North Shore Animal League, and
Yeah.
a breeder from Pennsylvania?
Yes.
A single person?
Yes.
Who is that person?
I'm not sure of her name. We can
Is that something we could vet?
It's a single person.
Yeah.
It's one person.
Yeah, it's just one person who breeds puppies.
One more?
Okay.
Lorraine?
Oh, the corpse and the body of the dog was buried?
Oh, I don't know.
They were necropsy. Excellent.
I don't know how they were disposed of. Jed can give you the,
All right, thanks, folks.
okay.
Thank you. Do you want to